All right. Hi guys, we are back. We have some awesome questions that you submitted and we are excited to start answering them.
Yeah, most of our questions are submitted from staff members, so there will be a little bit of a skew there, but hopefully they'll still be interesting and they'll still let you guys know a little bit more about who we are.
All right, so let's kick it off with a question from Mrs. Kiss. So Mrs. Kiss has a very important question about facial hair. She's wondering, will John's mustache become a quarantined beard?
As you can see, it's still a mustache, and I plan to keep it that way.
All right. So here's a question from Mrs. Kramer. So Miss Kramer wants to know a family tradition that I want to pass on to Peter. So my family really values like togetherness and time spent with loved ones during the holidays. So one family tradition we have, my dad is Italian, and he is it Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve?
New Year's.
New Year's. Obviously a super important tradition. Every New Year's Eve we make fried dough together. It's kind of like a donut, but it's more savory than...
Yeah, it's like a potato-based
Yeah,
donut,
potato-based
basically.
donut. Yeah, and we like fry them together and your clothes smell for days, and it's a super exciting, fun time. They taste delicious, so I hope to do that with Peter when he's a little bit older.
Another question from Mrs. Kramer was, what is one piece of advice that my grandpa has given me? She knows my grandpa, so this is kind of a question for her. But
Shout out to Grandpa John if you're watching.
yeah, and I would say I don't think I've gotten a single piece of advice from my grandpa that didn't include something like be a strong Christian leader and make a difference in your kind of corner of the world. So yeah, I really can't think of any advice that's something different than that. So.
All right, Miss Brower is wondering if we could travel anywhere, where would we go? John.
Oh, I would say a place that we'd want to travel is Santa Fe, New Mexico. Jess's family's out there, and we were planning to visit them for spring break, but that trip got canceled because of COVID-19. So that's something that we would like to do.
Also, our favorite place to go for travel purposes is New Orleans, so we would always love an opportunity to go back there as well.
Yeah.
All right. Mrs. House wants to know, what is our favorite thing about working in Fennville? I would say that my favorite thing is probably the sense of community in Fennville. I really feel like everyone has your back there, and also our coworkers. I feel like they're not just people that you work with every day, but they've grown to become some of our close friends, which we really value and appreciate.
Something in addition to all that, because that's definitely true for me, would be it's nice to work there together and to be able to do our commute every day together and have, like 20 minutes to each way in the car to kind of talk and debrief and just start our day, and that's a nice thing.
All right, Mrs. Tibbetts has a would you rather question. Would you rather be quarantined forever or never be able to go home again? We're gonna have different answers on this one. I am more of a homebody, and for me, I would totally be okay with being quarantined forever. I legitimately have not left our house in a month besides like taking walks outside, and it doesn't really faze me. I like being home. I like spending time with John and Peter and our pets. I'm good.
I would definitely, I would take Jess and Peter with us, but if I had to leave everything, like our home and all of our stuff inside, I would rather start over in another house and another home or whatever and not be quarantined forever. I've got a lot of years, I think, ahead that I would like to spend in the world.
That's fair. Mrs. Tibbetts also wonders, do you ever use behavior tactics on the other, and if so, do you notice?
I would say not really. I mean, one nice thing that every couple should do is to notice when your partner does something that you like, and just let them know and praise them for that. You're more likely to see that behavior in the future then, and that is kind of a behavior strategy that we use at school, but
I think I have a bit of a complex about this because my mom's a social worker and my dad's a psychologist, so growing up they definitely use all their tactics on me, and I realized it. So I try not to do that too much with John, but I kind of foresee us doing it with Peter.
Yeah, probably.
Alright, Mrs. Metcalf wants to know, what can I do when I feel stressed other than eating and scrolling?
I would say exercise is really important right now. Get out and walk every day. Start running or biking or whatever, just so you can. It's a good way of releasing endorphins and not feeling stressed, and it's something that you can do right now.
Yeah, or get into a hobby, cook, I don't know, craft. Alright, let's see. She also wants to know, what are your favorite places in Holland, including parks and restaurants? So my favorite restaurant is downtown Holland. It's called 76. I don't know, it's new in the last couple of years, but they have this one dish called really good lemon chicken, I think is what it's called. It is amazing, and I could eat it for every meal. My favorite place to go is, we live right by Centennial Park, and specifically during tulip time, which I'm so sad is not happening this year, mostly because I eat my weight in corn dogs and giant sugary lemonades. So I'm a little depressed.
I would say my favorite park is Port Sheldon Natural Area. It's very underutilized. But you're allowed to hike there with your dog off leash. So it's really cool just to let your dog kind of roam around as you hike. And it's just a few minutes north of Holland. Favorite restaurant, I think, would be probably Lolo's during the summertime, where you get to sit outside and eat on their patio. Mm-hmm. It's nice.
All right, Miss Martin wants to know, let's see. If you could quarantine somewhere other than your house, where would you go?
This is easy. I would go to the Marshall Islands because
this is easy.
It's in the Pacific and it seems really nice. And they have currently 0 confirmed cases of COVID-19. And they've kind of sectioned off the country, so you could hopefully live kind of normal because there's a very low chance of you getting the coronavirus.
I would go to Santa Fe and stay with my parents. They just bring me joy and peace in times of stress, and they could help us take care of Peter. Bonus. She also wants to know if our dog can do any tricks.
Let's see.
The short answer is no. She's not that intelligent. Well, she is. She's smart. She's just not good at tricks. But here's one thing. We'll see if she'll do it.
So she is pretty good at finding toys, and you just say, all right, where's your toy? And she'll go after it. So.
All right, I'll do it. Ready? Ginny, where's your toy? Where's your toy? Where's your toy, Ginny? Where's your toy? Where's your toy?
She's got one in her mouth already, so I don't know if that's gonna work, but
oh wow, Ginny, that was like your one moment to shine, yeah. And you really messed it up.
Yeah.
Usually she can do that one, but she has a toy in her mouth, so not so much. All right,
we didn't
Ginny.
see that. That was sticking out the other side of her mouth.
All right, what's next? Who is your favorite student or coworker from Mrs. Martin? It's you, Meredith.
I can't answer that.
She asked if it was one another. Next question. All right. Our friend Isaac DeBoer, who we work with at Camp Roger, wants to know, what movies do you watch together?
We have pretty different tastes in movies, so it's hard to find something that we both like. Mm-hmm. I would say we both like Wes Anderson films.
Yeah, like The Royal Tenenbaums.
Life Aquatic, things like that, yeah. And we also like Jordan Peele films, so like...
All two of them?
All two of them. He's done a few others, like producers, but like Get Out and Us.
Yeah, we kind of like psychological thrillers. Like John does not like jump scare movies as much, but like something that's a little more like twisted and suspenseful.
Yeah.
All right, our friend Ben Grader, also a Camp Roger coworker, asked John, how did you get into woodworking, and does Jess ever help you out?
Basically 5 years ago, we moved into a place during internship, and it had a big dining room, and we wanted a table for it, and our little apartment 4-seat table was really too small for it, so I wanted to build I wanted to have a really big table, but we couldn't really afford like something that would seat like 8 people. So I decided I would build one myself, and we built that. And since then, it's just been kind of seeing needs in our house, like, oh, we want a new bed frame, or we need a coffee table, things like that, and just building things that we need. Jess has helped support it, I think, by buying me things for the hobby, but she's not much of a woodworker herself. One of the things I made actually is this coffee table that we're going off of right now. So there's a walnut coffee table that something I made.
As far as me helping him with woodworking, no, I'm not skilled in that area. I did buy him
Yeah, I already said that.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Also, I like to come up with projects for him to build around the house, so I don't know. I inspire his work. Okay, I accidentally skipped one, so we're going to go back. So Mrs. Kiss has a few more questions. She wants to know how my cooking skills are during quarantine. This is a bit of a burn for Mrs. Kiss because I would cook with her class last school year, and I may have burned a batch or 12 of cookies. But I have gotten a little bit better at cooking. Baking, not so much. I'm not precise enough to follow a recipe, so that's a problem. But I've made some good things. I made a really cute Easter cake for Easter this year, and it turned out well, so.
All right, here's some more tricks with Ginny, I think.
Oh, jeez.
Come here. All right, up. That's it.
Catch it, Ginny. Don't embarrass us.
So embarrassing.
We're going to stop cutting to Ginny now.
Okay.
Okay, she also wants to know what's our favorite thing to do for me time during the quarantine. Currently I'm trying to redecorate parts of our house, so I'm trying to give some love to our backyard and kind of documenting the journey on Instagram. So John built us like a back patio, and I've been spray painting our picnic tables and chairs, and buying cute throw pillows and things like that to try to make the backyard look prettier. So home projects.
Yeah, I would say woodworking for me. I built Peter a little stool, so.
Okay, John's grandpa wants to know, how do I get to see more of Peter John? All right, well,
First of all,
here he is bouncing on his favorite new toy. Hi, Peter. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? You bouncing?
Other than that, I would say follow us on Instagram. That's just we post there more than Facebook, probably.
And lastly, Mr. Potts wants to know, if we learn from making mistakes, why are we afraid of making them?
I would say it's really important to actually learn from making mistakes. I think it's a bit of a misconception that just because you made a mistake, you're going to learn from it. So it's important to be reflective on it and make sure you take away something that you learn. But
I'd also say that it's kind of human nature to want to do things right the first time, but if everybody was perfect, then we would never gain any new skills. So great question, Mr. Potts. Very made me think. All right, so that's pretty much all we have for you. Thank you so much for everyone who submitted a question. We had a lot of fun answering them.
Thanks, everyone.
We miss you. Stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you soon, hopefully.